Okay, I've got Mr. Nick Kremer for a second time on the channel, and we're going to talk all things Google, and we're going to talk a little bit about organic versus paid, and paid leads. Also, I'd like to spend a little bit more time in kind of like high level. What are some of the most important things that we all should be doing right now? So for my kind of basic learning about pay-per-click, learning about the basics of Google, we will point you in other resources. For all my advanced guys who want to take over the world, this session is for you. So one of the reasons why I wanted to get Nick on is for two things. Number one is to talk really what our options are inside of the Google advertising suite. Now, he also does stuff with Bing and some other channels that are good sources. We'll talk about that too. But for my community, really, if we can create a YouTube channel that those videos are converting for you organically, then it makes perfect sense for us to go pay Nick of Driven Leads a bunch of money to get us a bunch of low cost, high intent opportunities, so we can put those two together and create an extraordinary result set. So that's motivated me to talk to Nick. And then number two is we all need to figure out how to run YouTube ads for homeowners in our geographic territories. So these are my goals. Nick, say hi to everybody and tell them, kind of what you guys do, what's the service you guys offer, and let's dive in.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Nick Kremer, as he mentioned, Driven Leads, founder of Driven Leads. We've been running about 12 years now in the real estate space. We work just about 98% of our clients, 99% of our clients are residential real estate agents, brokers, team leaders, all shapes and sizes. So we're pretty familiar with the real estate world and like to work inside that niche because we enjoy the clients and then enjoy the space tremendously. So what we do is we will work as an extension of a real estate agent, broker, team leads, marketing arm, and work with them as consultants in whether we're running Google ads for them, whether we're doing Microsoft, Bing, Yahoo, AOL, DuckDuckGo. So it's in Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube and display ads are big. We look at those underneath the same Google lens, but at the same time, they're beasts within themselves. Most of our clients, 99% of our clients that come to us start out in Google search ads, whether we're doing buyer seller leads. But as we progress with them and as they start to grow their database and want to grow their reach, we work into display, into YouTube a lot more, help them do what right from wrong on the Facebook side and Instagram side, and then look for new opportunities, new markets inside the Microsoft web as well. So for the most part, working with the real estate side to help take over the world, so to speak, or cover their market, blanket their market.
And one of the things I like about what you guys do too, and please correct me if this is inaccurate, but you guys charge a flat fee for your monthly service, not a percentage of the ad spend.
Correct. Up to a certain amount. Yeah. So the majority of our clients spend below $5,000 a month in ad spend. Mm-hmm. So if you're spending below $5,000 a month in ad spend, you're going to have a flat fee rate of $500 a month in management. That management's going to cover Google and Microsoft. That's going to cover search or seller. That's going to cover the search. It's going to cover seller or buyer. And again, up to $5,000. After it goes past that, it's a 10% ad spend. Typically, the industry standard is about 15%. People charge 25% in some facets. We don't see the requirement for that. The reason it goes up after 5,000 is there's a lot more data for us to manage and to crunch. So there's a lot more work week to week on that. It's just sort of the nature of the beast.
Yep. Makes sense. Cool. And can we just get this right out of the way? I think you and I discussed this. Is it safe to say between you and I as a real estate coach and also as a real estate agent that the Facebook advertising model for new prospects was pretty much an epic failure in the last 5 years? Is that a safe assessment?
I can agree with that statement. Yes.
Yes. Good.
Yep.
Now, both Nick and I would agree that retargeting on Facebook and Instagram is meaning a database that you already have, past clients that have influence paid leads, retargeting them on Facebook and Instagram. Great move.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Very inexpensive way to stay in front of your database.
Yeah. Yep. So for all my friends out there, the company that just called you to sell you more Facebook ads, go ahead and just hang the phone up on it. Right. And if you want to use some foul language with them, be my guest.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just get that out of the way. So let's talk a little bit about You know what, I know that I'm excited about a couple of things for 2022. What are some of the things that, either A, what did you see were big winners in 2021, or what do you see as kind of the exciting moves in 2022? Either way is fine.
Yeah. So big winners in 2021 was that shift into people using Google local services. That was a massive upswing. The problem with it is everybody found out about it. So we started out in 2021 with clients getting $20 a lead for a Google local services lead. We don't charge for Google local services. We set it up for the clients, give them a right from wrong sort of rundown, do this, not that, keep an eye on it for them. But at the same time, there was a lot of guys and gals pulling in some really good deals through that. No different than when Zillow was brand new and you were getting cheap leads and deals in realtor.com. It was an early adoption, got in there. It was great. Now we're seeing a lot of people coming back saying, hey, my leads are starting to fizzle out and it's getting super expensive. Well, that's the way the world works. So for the majority of 2021, GLS has been a very hot item. It's worked really well for our clients. And some still do good with it, but it's something that you're going to have to.
What do you see in that world? Google My Business, Google My Profile, Google Local Services. What do you kind of project for us to be paying attention to in 2022 on the ad side, the paid ad side, right?
Yeah. So on the paid ad side with the Google My Business, Google Places. So Google My Business is changing the rebranding, the new name I'll think of here shortly, but it's not changing anything in the grand scheme of things.
I think it's like Google Business Profile.
Yeah, Google Business Profile. That's correct. So it used to be Google Plus, then it was Google Places, then it was Google My Business. Now it's Google Business Profile. What they're doing is they're looking to move more towards, putting emphasis still on the reviews, having you manage it in a central location where if you Google or search for your business, it pulls up and it knows you're the owner. You can do all your management in there. I think a lot of people complained about where to go to get that and how to do that. As it goes forward into the next year, you're not going to see much change on the Google local services. What we'd like to see is they would use Google local services and evolve that, because I tell everybody GLS was built for plumbers, electricians, and locksmiths. So you make a phone call to a locksmith because you're locked out of your car. They answer that call, they come out, they take care of the job, they send it over and said, job's completed, please give me a review. That could be a 24-hour turn time. And a lot of those services were set up for 24-hour turn times. Well, everybody knows real estate's not that. So you have to sort of game the system right now and tell GLS that, yep, we took the call, yep, we booked the deal, and yes, we've completed that. And to make Google think that you're able to take on more leads and to get through those leads properly. It'd be nice if they changed that for different solutions and had a different setup. Going forward, you're going to see more people trying it. You're going to see a lot more people going out and getting the reviews boosted, and then people making sure that ultimately your GLS, your Google local services, and GMB is going to work better if you have your profile filled out properly. If it's not filled out properly, you're going to be dead in the water. As far as paid goes.
Let's talk about just for a hot second, because the good news is in the Tom Ferry land, we've talked a lot about Google My Business and filling your profile out. I think Jason Pantana and Tom both have done a phenomenal job of really digging in deep there. Yep. But I just wanted everybody to be clear about something fundamental, right? Nick, myself, people that understand a little bit about the world of SEO and Google realized that the customer out there in the world actually was typing into Google your city name and the phrase real estate agent, meaning that people were actually looking for a real estate agent in city names into Google. And so all of this talk about Google My Business, Google My Profile, Google Listing Service was really Google's attempt to serve that search query. And most of you know that if you type in today, top listing agent in city name, and you look at the Google results page, you're going to run into HomeLight's webpage. And I want you to click on that HomeLight webpage, and I want you to read down the page and see how many times that they wrote the term real estate agent, sell your home, buy a home, real estate agent. It's like 400,000 times down this mile-long page. Yep. They created a website optimized for the customer searching for you. And then they were passing those leads over to you for a 25% referral fee. So it was really exciting in the last year, 2 years, where Google basically said, well, there's this Google My Business profile. People are searching for a service provider in the local area, real estate agents included. Let's give them the spot. And then the Google listing service runs across the top. And that is, well, let's give them an opportunity to run an ad. Yep. And so this was really great for a lot of real estate agents, A, to understand what this is. And then B, our job now is to optimize our Google My Business or Google profile listing and optimize it for enough content for Google to recognize, oh, wow, this is that guy, Nick Kremer, who's a real estate agent who serves in these communities. His profile's filled out, his website's there. He's answered a lot of questions. He's got a lot of reasonable content that indicates that he actually is an active real estate agent in geographic territory X. So the next time here's what I knew as an immediate opportunity. If I inherited a property in your community and I live in Solana Beach, San Diego, and one of my family members has a property in your community and it's way far away from me, I need to find a real estate agent. And so what do? Go into Google and I type in what? Real estate agent in city name. Guys, we all know that is happening every day across the United States. So on the Google listing service, we were paying for position there. And then my Google My Profile, we're there organically as well. Right. So I think people kind of miss that context. Like this was some like cool, interesting opportunity that like came out of nowhere. Right.
It's been there. Yeah. Yeah.
It's there. It's just, this is what it is. What's so people are looking for real estate agents in city names. Let's make sure that we are optimized 100% for paid and for free inside of that.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about 2022, right? Moving away from Google My Business, the profile.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk for a second about YouTube ads?
Yeah. So 2022, we always have a theme for each year, what we're going to say and what we're going to do. We're going to use the theme omnipresence at Driven Leads. So
cool.
What's your omnipresence? Are you present on GMB? Are you present in GLS? Are you, is your Facebook profile set up properly? Do you represent yourself properly in all those facets? Are you doing Google ads? Are you doing Google display? And then YouTube. YouTube is the main cog in that wheel when we talk about omnipresence, for a couple of reasons. It's really inexpensive. So, and I'll talk about the paid side of things. You can talk about the organic side because that's something that you've really keyed in on. But on the paid side of things, you can get in front of people extremely inexpensive for a rate, no different than back in the day when cable was a new thing and you could get an advertisement on cable TV for pennies on the dollar compared to ABC, NBC, CBS, right? Mm-hmm. The amount of views that are coming on YouTube have grown dramatically over the last few years. It's getting more and more. And the beauty in what YouTube offers is it's the second largest search platform in the world, second only to Google. Google owns both of them. So it gives you a great value to spread your wings and go out into more things. What we're doing in search and what we're seeing in search is the ability for people to show up at your office and say, man, I see your stuff everywhere. Or, I've watched all your videos on YouTube. Where's the buyer contract? I want to sign it now. Crazy stuff like that is happening that you hear here and there, but we have clients that are saying, hey, this is what's happened since we started doing this. Now, some of them did it organically and came to us and said, hey, we want to make sure that we're covering all aspects of this by going in and doing the paid search. Some of them did it just by blunt force trauma is what I call it. And saying, hey, I want to own this entire city. So I want to show up for ads for everybody that are homeowners and likely to buy or sell in the next 18 months. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do that. Those are things that we can talk about. With YouTube, you have the ability to remarket, retarget. So when we talk about our database, we talk about people that have been on, with the YouTube side of things, you can do people that have been on your site in the last 18 months. So great example we always use is I use simple math because I'm a simple human. Let's say you send 1,000 people to your site on Google search every month and we get 100 of them to sign up. So you've got 100 new leads and you've got 1,000 people that were there. Back in the day, it was like, okay, we got 100 leads. That's great. Let's try to get a couple deals. Now you have the ability to take those 1,000 people that raised their hand with good search intent and said, hey, I'm interested in buying a home. I'm interested in seeing what the value of my home is, one path or the other. And you can go out and get in front of them in YouTube, in display ads, in Facebook, in Instagram, and use that. Let's say it costs you $1 to get in front of one person. So you spend $1,000 to get in front of 1,000 people. Now you can go into each one of these funnels and it costs you pennies on the dollar to stay in front of them and potentially bring them back to the table and try to get more leads off of the 100 you have. The other beauty in it.
Hold on, let me stop right there because I didn't even really think that one through until you just said that. So I want to dumb it down for a couple of my friends out there. So one of the things that happens when we hire Nick and Driven Leads to help us out is they're going to say, hey, there's going to be 5,000 people a month search homes for sale in city name, and we're going to try and put you in front of as many of those as possible. And this percentage of them will click on the link, but then they won't register on your website, but they went to your website. And so that is an opportunity for us. What you're saying is the 1,000 people that went there but didn't register. Mm-hmm. We can target the 1,000 right? Because they've expressed the interest. They just never filled out the stupid registration form on your website, because our registration forms on most of our websites are terrible. They kind of lie to the customer. And so, you know, a lot of savvy, really important potential clients will not do that registration on your website because of the way that it was set up. And so we're missing huge swaths of opportunity because we're unable to go back and remarket those people. And so if I hear you correctly, Nick, if I could do a video ad in front of that group of 1,000 and present myself as a top pro real estate agent, knowing what they're interested in, that presentation on video, and if I could put that in front of them, would be 1,000 times more powerful than just my website asking them to register, and then, you know, 400 days of horrible pain and suffering from our email, text, and ISA morons, right? So that's the thing, guys. I'm really excited. I'm super excited, because if I could teach you guys how to actually present yourself really well on video, Nick can put us in front of those people. And if our video presentation converts, that is a game changer, because now it's not they're not cold. They're now warm to you as a brand, as an authority. This is brilliant. That's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah. And you're able to get in front of those people, and you're able to establish yourself as a brand, as the authority in your market for buying or selling a home. You know, we have a couple of agents that will. So when you're talking retargeting and remarketing is going back and getting in front of people that did not sign up. Remarketing is going back and saying, hey, I know you signed up and you haven't purchased a home with me yet. You know, retargeting and remarketing came out for e-commerce, but it can be used for any sort of solution.
I didn't know the difference between the two.
So
that's interesting. That's great.
The difference is with remarketing, you can use remarketing and say remarketing is email marketing to people that have signed up, right? Retargeting is going back and targeting this audience that came to your site, and you could say, and you can put those into deeper funnels and say, okay, if they came in and looked at, you know, El Cajon over top of San Diego proper, let's show them 2 different videos. So you can do that based on what kind of actions they took on your site. But we look at it, and most times we're going to throw everybody in the retargeting and the remarketing. We're going to throw them all in the same pot and show them those videos. Now, we have clients that'll do different video sets and different video campaigns inside Facebook for the people that have signed up. But ultimately, it doesn't cost you, again, all that much money to get in front of people. And whether you're doing the pre-roll ads, and the pre-roll ads are the ones that are showing up before you go and you click on, let's say you want to watch a video on, you know, NFL football highlights, right? So you're on Monday morning, you're looking at the football highlights, and an ad comes up. Those ads are set in front of you most times for a reason. We can make it where this person's been to your site before, then we're going to show them your ad. And for the first 6 seconds, if they don't click on it, then, you know, that's fine, but they can't click off of you for the first 6 seconds. But if they don't click it for 30 seconds, then you pay for that ad. If they click skip after the first 6 or 7 seconds, then you don't pay anything. If they you know, hit skip and go to your, you know, skip ad before 30 seconds, you don't pay anything. So that's essentially free advertising. It's a great branding play. You're getting in front of people. You can limit how many times you show. Like if I wanted to get in front of Patrick, and if I said, hey, I want him to see my face 10 times a day, I can set the impressions on for 10 times a day per user and say, I'm going to show myself 10 times in front of you. If everybody can remember back to the election cycle, when you see those ads and those videos in front of you, that's no different. But what they're doing is they're sort of blanketing the entire market and saying, everybody in this area, I want to show everybody this video 10 times or 5 times a day. Everybody's going to get sick and tired of it. You know, I don't see the value in them doing that, but that's what that's essentially is. Is you're doing that pre-roll.
And this whole topic, because, you know, Jason Pantana with Tom Ferry Coaching has really been kind of showing everybody, hey, you know, you can do this. This is, and, you know, and so I don't want my coaching clients doing it by themselves. I want them working with someone like you, where you can really kind of walk them through to where they're not wasting money and wasting time, and we're being more strategic about this. But just to go back to that, you know, this is why I'm so excited today, where I'm feeling very bullish about 2022, investing in, right, these search lower cost leads today with video content, remarketing, and YouTube and email marketing. My goal is that we don't even have to have an ISA. We don't have to have, you know, long-winded, you know, text message automated crap. If we just do a good job with our video content, we could easily make a positive quality impression with these higher intent, lower cost leads, and increase our conversion rates big time. Which also, you know, for a lot of my friends out there, this reduces our expenses per conversion, and we can actually increase the number of lead opportunities. and have a better conversion process. Because and I think Novak has probably experienced this that you work with, right? Mike and
Yep.
Right. Rachel, it's when the cold lead sees video content of you, and they see that you're an intelligent, savvy individual, you're now someone that they're like, oh, okay, I understand who that is. And if they end up watching 2, 3, 4, 5 of your videos and you did a good job, they're just going to call you.
Yep.
And what I want, of course, Nick, for me with all my clients is I want the client that like registered on your site or whatever, but then end up coming into the market because they never talked to you. They end up meeting someone at an open house or working with like a cousin or whatever,
a
random agent. They went and looked at property with that random agent for like a weekend, maybe the first weekend. But when they watched 1 or 2 or 3 of your videos, they were like, whoa, that agent is significantly smarter, wiser, more intelligent, shared more advice, seemed to be more resourceful than spending an entire weekend with this agent.
Yep.
And guys, that is going like that call that you're going to get, that lead response, they're gonna be like, hey, would you have time to talk to me a little bit about my plans? And then they're like, I watched multiples of your videos. You're clearly, would you please help me? What? They're going to be begging you to help them.
Yeah.
That's the difference here, right? So for me, Nick, it's like, I think like, it's like, how much can we scale this stuff up?
Right. You can get pretty inventive with it. That's kind of the cool and crazy thing with with what Google's allowing you to do, sort of in spite of the Zillow machine now. They're giving you avenues to put your marketing dollars out there and having it work for you. Again, no different than, back in the day when you had billboards, bus stop signs, and then you had your cable TV ads. Nowadays you've got YouTube that acts like a TV, and you're going to start to see more television opportunities with YouTube advertising where they're going to allow that to open up a little bit more in the future. You're going to see the display ads that are showing up on your local newspapers, on your news feeds, whether you're looking at CNN, Fox News, MSN, MSNBC, all that stuff has display ads. So you can show up and have your display ads all over there. It's that omnipresence. It's getting in front of everybody for a fairly inexpensive rate. And again, it doesn't even have to just be people that you had gotten in front of before. It doesn't have to be people that have been to your site. You can get in front of everybody. You can get in front of everybody across the country, or if you want to get in front of people in your market, in sort of your audience that you want to be in front of, you can do that on video. And with YouTube,
can we address that for homeowners in a geographic territory?
Yep.
So one of my big pushes with a bunch of my coaching clients in 2022 is I want us to do a YouTube video ad in front of homeowners in our geographic farms.
Yep.
So you talked a little bit about kind of what we can and cannot do here, because there's some fair housing stuff and all this stuff. But
right. So what we can't do is we can't do gender, we can't do income, we can't do age. We've got to be pretty good about ours. You can't do zip codes, you can do city. So they've sort of cut that out of there. What you are allowed to do is you're allowed to say, I want to be in front of somebody that has been to websites like Zillow.com, Realtor.com. So you can go out and put that in there and say, if they've been here, you can get in front of people. I can go out and get in front of people. You can get in front of people any way you want. If you want to say, okay, if they like this channel on YouTube, so what are some of the top channels on YouTube? Like if it's HGTV, if it's stuff that makes it known that they're homeowners, right? You can go in and do an affinity audience of saying people are homeowners. You can do those audiences to a point. They're not as effective as going out and just saying, hey, if they've been to these websites, let's get in front of them. You can also do that inside Gmail.
So what you're saying is there, because I think Jason pointed to there's an option for us to select homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're saying is that there's some better ways to approach that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Google makes assumptions, Facebook makes assumptions, everybody makes assumptions. Now, if we can remove those assumptions, now I don't have a problem with it for the most part. If we're looking to if we've got a larger budget and we want to get in front of everybody possible, then we're gonna go out and go after the homeowner range, right? We're gonna say, okay, anybody that's pseudo homeowner. Now, what we're also gonna do in the the sort of the secret sauce, if you will. There's no really secretive stuff that we do. We're pretty open book on how we run our campaigns and stuff. But where you can throw away a lot of money in YouTube is children's channels. So every parent, 95% of the parents in America are guilty of handing their child an iPad, saying, quit asking me 1,000 questions an hour, watch this iPad for a bit, and they go to YouTube and they go to children's channels.
Yep.
Now, where that gets scary is when the marketer that's running these ads and paying for this ad, we're internet traffic brokers is what we call ourselves. Mm-hmm. When we're running that ad and we're, when when the local politics was going wild for the elections, my daughter says something in the back seat. She's 9 years old and says so-and-so's doesn't have the guts to stand up to big pharmacy. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, who told you that? And she's like, well, I see that video every single day when I'm watching my YouTube channel on how to make slime. I'm like, perfect. That's wasted money.
Yeah.
So and what we do to combat that is we go through and we've got a giant negative channel list to making sure that we're not getting in front of these channels. There's new ones being made every day, new channels coming in every day. So we have to keep that list sort of organic and growing. So
Right.
we're auditing stuff and doing that edits. We're making sure that the channels that we're showing up on and getting a lot of impressions on are ones that we want to be in front of, right?
Yeah, that's cool. So you guys got your secret sauce list of,
Yep.
Here's our tried and true interest list that produces some of the best results in terms of ads to potential clients.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty slick. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we've Google My Business, Google Listing. We've got some advanced strategies. What's, here's actually one of my questions is what is kind of the average cost per lead registration right now that you guys are experiencing? Registration guys, meaning they filled out, we paid for click homes for sale and city name. They clicked the link, went to your page. They put in a phone number and an email and they've completed your registration process. What are you guys seeing right now is kind of an average cost per click?
Going up
per lead registration.
Yeah, it's going up. 'Tis the season. That's all I gotta say. The holidays make the search traffic go down and the lead costs go up. But in the pandemic, we saw a massive drop in cost per lead. So where we used to see 10 to 12, we were seeing 8 to 10. I've seen some at $6 per lead. Now every market varies. When I plead for agents and brokers when they talk to their buddies, and if you're in California, if you're in San Diego and you're talking to somebody in Louisville, Kentucky, I promise you your numbers are not equal, because I know for a fact you guys won't look. You hate leads under $650,000, where a Louisville lead that's $180,000 is a good lead. They'll take it. So markets vary, but averages that we saw were 10 to 12. You're going to see stuff depending on what your market looks like, and where we sort of base that on is what's the average cost of listing in your market, how much search traffic is in there, and then how much competition. Once we figure out what they're going to charge us on cost per click, and we look at and sort of seeing what kind of competition is out there, then that lead cost sort of varies.
So I think just in general, is it safe to say, if you're in a more expensive competitive marketplace like I am in North County, San Diego, I'm going to be looking anywhere between $15 to $20 cost per lead. But if you're in like Phoenix, Arizona, and there's billions of properties and there's some competition but lower price point, maybe I'm looking at the 10 to 15.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's more parameters that go into it as well. Something we sort of have that conversation with each one of the clients we're working with them is, do we want to scrape the bottom of the barrel? Do we want to keep the leads a little bit more higher intent? So 9 times out of 10, and I don't think everybody does this. I know for a fact that the platforms that run PPC traffic don't do this. We black out a lot of, we put into negative terms, short sale, foreclosure, cheap, deal,
lot,
lot, rentals, apartments, like discount, discount agent, discount broker. Those keywords are tossed out immediately. So that kind of stuff.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and it's and I think a lot of agents who have run pay-per-click campaigns with kind of the companies that they're basically hosting their websites. So any list of those, and they charged you varying cost basis for that. I would say that most of those companies, based upon that I'm aware of, they are running very basic templated formulas and just getting you in the game. And so a lot of you out there that have run those campaigns and spent $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 with your website providers, right? They mostly gave you guys a bunch of crap, because what he's saying is there's a lot of devil in the details that you got to kind of get rid of, alter, change. And so setting up your ads takes way more work than the templated stuff that we were paying for over here. So if you're thinking about lead quality, right, a driven lead quality standard versus, let's just call it the average website pay-per-click campaign, their standard is significantly lower. So you're going to get more trash, more random, more stuff you didn't really want, and you're kind of pissed off about in that, because they're just not setting up as much standards and eliminating crap out of the way for you, like Nick is. So I think for context, people need to understand that it's that right there improves the quality of the lead. But let's be honest with you. I mean, when I'm thinking about this, Nick, let me state this out loud. If I can raise the standard of the intent of the customer, and I don't have to worry so much about the damn registration, and I don't have to run my 10 days of pain and suffering with an ISA.
Yep.
And I can actually do a lot better job remarketing the higher intent with my video content and display and so on and so forth. And basically audition via video to high intent, high quality leads, leveraging your resources. That's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is an absolute no-brainer for me.
It's one to many as well. I think we talked about that, last time we chatted. Yeah. You're leveraging your time. Time is money. If you're getting some intelligent videos out there, and I think the common misconception why a lot of people don't jump out and start creating videos is that they don't have a ton of video equipment. They don't have, they don't have a production team. Honestly, you need a phone, like whether it could be 3 years old. You need a phone, and you need a subject, and you need to be precise and to the point. Maybe you do a little bit of scripting with that. Obviously you can help them with that, but it doesn't have to be a massive production. Some of the videos that we have our clients out there doing that we're promoting and that we're putting into ads isn't the greatest thing ever, but it shows them as who they are and presents them intelligently to their client base and to their prospects. And that's how it works. That's why it works too.
Yeah. For those of you guys maybe watching this channel or me or for the first time, I have a ton of videos on how to and what to do with video marketing on my channel. Go jump in there. For those of you that are some of Nick's friends, get on there and check it out, because I've done a lot on this topic, right? Being a Ferry, for those of you who don't know, there's Mike Ferry, Patrick Ferry, Tom Ferry, my brother, Matthew Ferry, my oldest brother. We're pretty good at giving presentations that convert, right? That's what we do. Okay, so I've got some good content for you guys. Last question, Nick, and I know we got to go. Thank you guys for staying here, because this is a good one. One of the questions that I have for you is frequency. So if I wanted to target homeowners or kind of the seller lead in a geographic territory, a city, and there's two plays that I'm really looking at. One is kind of doing a monthly kind of housing market report. Hey, homeowners in, here's what's going on with the market in, which, if I'm basically getting that free impression if they don't pay attention. How do I position a frequency of that? So like with you, so just like I could set it up to where like it starts and stops on inside of a timeline and the next one comes in. And then how do I mix that with more of like a specific kind of call to action seller ad? One of the things I'm working on right now, one of the new clients you're going to have from my community, I want them to write here's the 5 things that every homeowner needs to think about, prepare for before they put their home on the market. And I want it to be kind of running as like a book an appointment with me ad for this consultation. So I've got like this housing market ad, and then I've got like a conversion ad for homeowners for listing appointments. Can you speak a little bit about kind of how that works? I mean, I just don't logistically, I don't understand how that would play out.
Right. So you would essentially, and we do this for a bunch of our clients. So you choose the path that you want. So if you're doing like an evergreen video that doesn't have the market data in it, doesn't have the monthly update of this is what's changed or this is what's happened. That's called an evergreen ad. You can run that any time of year at any year, so to speak. I've got an agent that has done videos that are 2 or 3 years old that they've continued to run in and out. So the first one, you talk about the market update. If we're doing a market update and we're running that to people that have been on the site, let's say we run that to anybody that's been on the site in the last 30 to 60 days, I would run that for 2 weeks, and then I would put something else in there. But you could run a new market update, every month. And that market update usually comes out second week of November. So Mike's video, he gets to us after he gets the data. We get the video up, we set it out there, run it for 2 weeks, and then run something else 2 weeks, parallel to that. So there's always something in that gap. And that's just us going in and changing out the copy, changing out the ad, pausing that ad out, putting the new ad in. Pretty straightforward and easy. I would run that. I'd run that to people that have been on your site.
But what about for like my geographic farm friends who are like, man, I'm already been marketing into these communities, these neighborhoods. I just want them to start seeing me now on YouTube.
And honestly, that market update could be a good video for that. And then swapping that out and doing that market video for that. Maybe doing other things on seasonal stuff, what goes on seasonally for homeowners, what to look for. And then for the people that have come in, like you talked about, doing the top 5 things for buying or selling a home. Running those ads, those sort of evergreens, you run those into people that have only been to your site, right? So people that have only been to your site, making yourself an authority. You can also run that ad, run the video with the market updates. We do that. That's what we typically do. So we'll run market updates to everybody. You'll run top 5 things for buying, or top 5 things for selling, or the buying and selling process. Mike has a five video set for it. And you just sort of run them through that. You can run that like a funnel, like you do with email succession, where if they watch 10 seconds of this, go to this one, go to this one, go to this one.
Oh, cool.
There's ways you can really get creative with it. But then also we say just every 2 weeks, cycle that thing out, put a new video up there. Just we'll pause that out and run that. That's stuff that we do. You technically just copy and paste over into a new ad, into that new ad, pull that old one out, put the new one in, mark it and say, hey, we've got the new ad in. This is what this was running at this date, just so you can keep track of what worked and what didn't. If you've got one that's really successful, run that sucker back every few months, because honestly, it's going to be relevant data always.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think we got to wrap this up, but I think just, in summary, the level of experience and the level of technical the strategy in which you are approaching the pay-per-click and the world of Google for real estate agents, the way that you are really getting down into the details and making it better for us is 1000% worth it. And a lot of us have wasted too much time and money on Facebook advertising, which just built our databases a bunch of shit. And then a bunch of us have paid our website providers a bunch of money to get us lower quality leads, even at higher prices than you would pay for Nick. And today, I just want us to really let's make sure you guys connect with Nick at drivenleads.com and book some appointments to schedule some stuff with him. We're all going to need to work on, I love this remarketing stuff with video. We all need to figure out what to do to put our videos in front of homeowners to pick up listing appointments, retarget these databases so we can increase our conversion rates, right? And we need to start building our databases as soon as possible. So we got a lot of work to do, you guys. Make sure you guys, reach out to Nick, go to drivenleads.com, right? Is that the easiest place to go?
That's the easiest place to get in touch with us. Yep.
Go to drivenleads.com, schedule yourself for an appointment, meet with his team, and figure out what they can do to improve your conversion rate on the leads and get you better exposure inside of your community. Thank you, Nick, so much for your time, man. You're the best. And I'll catch up with you guys later. I got to roll.
Good, man. Appreciate it.